This might sound a little coherent because I want to jump right into this and did quite a bit of research on this next record. Always curious about Stacey Q. She's at number 37, a lost 45. I forgot about this record. Number 37 on this fancy playlist, July 30th, 1989. Right here, the song is Give You All My Love. And it looks like I stiffed it out at number 37 on this fancy playlist. Love that dance music. Although this record, oh, it's definitely this is 1989, 1988, 1988, 1989, 1990 as far as dance pop is concerned. Sounds a lot like Sweet Sensation, Seduction. Remember the song too, To Make It Right by Seduction. Maybe a little bit less commercial than that. Did okay on the dance charts. A lot of people think that Stacey Q was a one-hit wonder. She had that. My goodness. I'll never forget. Well, they always come across like this on the videos. The self-assurance. Late summer, fall of 1986, when Stacey Q came out with her humongous hit, Two of Hearts. She was on top of the world. I remember watching her video and just mesmerized. My goodness. She tried out all these costumes. Remember, she did all the dance moves, tried out all these costumes. And if I remember correctly, the video would sometimes go from color to black and white of her with the sunglasses and all that. Actually, I think she more or less considered herself more of a dancer than a singer. But Stacey Q, boy, my goodness, let's go back. Her real name is Stacey Swan. Graduated from high school in 1976, joined the Ringling Brothers Circus. First year, she was a showgirl. Second year, when she was with the circus, she was an elephant trainer. Later on, she joined a group called Q. Q was formed, one of the founders of the group was a producer named John St. James, who later became her manager and produced, at least co-produced her albums, at least this album called Nights Like This, which would be her third album. And John St. James, he was into that electronic music, boy. Oh, yes. Kraftwerk. He was the Kraftwerk. He was the M. Remember M? He did M that did pop music in '79. He was into that. And he saw something in Stacey Swan. He thought to himself, this girl's got the right persona. She's got the charisma to fit the electronic music genre. And indeed, she had the musical chops, at least the taste. She was into the Plastics, a Japanese group, an obscure Japanese group. She was into the B-52s. Stacey Swan, a massive fan of David Bowie. She became a member. She did some demos for John St. James, and she became a member of the group called Q. But when Stacey Swan started to become a lead singer of the group, it became SSQ. And to make a very long story short, they released an album called Playback in 1983. Didn't do anything. Bombed. She later became a solo artist, and she signed a deal with Atlantic Records and released her first big album, Better Than Heaven. Well, her biggest album, Better Than Heaven, Two of Hearts. Yes, Two of Hearts. Amazing looking the video. A lot of people compared her to Madonna. And I guess I could see some comparison there. And but she had some other things too. Remember the song We Connect? Her runner-up, We Connect, went to number 35, and guess who wrote We Connect? The runner-up to Two of Hearts. Willie Wilcox of Utopia. It's like that song by The Fix. One thing leads to another when you research these groups and these songs. Wilcox of Utopia, Top Rundgren's group, had that song Set Me Free in the spring of 1980. But my favorite song by Utopia was Libertine and Princess of the Universe. But that's another story. Now, Nights Like This, that was her last album. That was her last album with Atlantic Records in 1989. The two albums that came after Better Than Heaven didn't do as well. Nonetheless, the song Give You All My Love was top 20 on the dance charts, won the dance charts in Billboard, which is not shabby at all. And she converted to Buddhism later on in the 90s and released an album called Boomerang in 1997. Completely different from her dance music, though. Basically acoustic rock pop album. Although she did make a return to the electronic music genre when she released another album, which released an album in 2010. I know there's something I'm missing about Stacey Q. Oh, yes, indeed. I knew I forgot something. That's why I write all these notes down. That's why they're all over. This is all over the road. One of the guys, the song Give You All My Love, she wrote that song with a guy named David Cole. David Cole, and I can't pronounce this guy's last name. David Cole and Robert Capilius. C&C Music Factory, one of the co-producers of this album. David Cole of C&C Music Factory co-wrote this song with Stacey Q. Remember C&C Music Factory? There was Gonna Make You Sweat, 1990, and here we go, one of the best dance records ever, and the spring of 1991, and Things That Make You Go in 1991, and they had some other things out later in the 90s where he co-wrote this song with Stacey. Well, she came Stacey Q, the group's SSQ, and then instead of Stacey Swan, when she became a solo artist, she just changed to Stacey Q. And she is at number 37 on this fancy playlist. What a jam. This is just lovely. Give You All My Heart on my fancy playlist, July 30th, 1989.